And welcome to the news at 6. Cooler and wetter conditions spreading across the state. This is a live look from Anchorage right now. The drop in temperatures and some rain slowing the progress of at least some fires in the state. Well, good evening. The state is also back down to a preparedness level 4 out of 5, with weather conditions playing a major role in that change. Chief Meteorologist Melissa Fry tracking that next storm. Melissa, is the rain here to stay?
Unfortunately not. It's going to come and go really relatively quickly. And despite that relief that some of these firefighter crews are experiencing tonight, Alaska is still approaching 850,000 acres burned so far this year, with 11 new fires in just the past 24 hours. Now, this is recent video from the Division of Forestry showing some of the response to one of those complex fires that are burning right here in Alaska. This is above the Nenana Ridge Complex perimeter, where a crew is dropping retardant. And you can see the smoke and haze. It's obvious in the area. The second plane hardly visible here in this video until it gets pretty close. Look at this coming through that smoke again as it continues to fight that fire below. And even though we've had some relief, evacuations are still in place for several communities, including for this Nenana Ridge fire. And we want to show you the live dashboard. These numbers up to the minute across the state. Right now, we have about 250 active fires reported and approaching 24 as staff. So this is the ongoing situation, as we have heard over and over again. What's been tough about this particular year is that it has been so consistent over about the past 6 weeks, really nonstop for these firefighters. And what you're looking at here is a comparison of 2025 compared to the last 10 years. You can see it's pretty low on the chart. We've had some years with 2, 3, even more than 5 million acres burned. Now, the season is not over yet, and you can see 2025 they're approaching 850,000 acres, still more than 2024 and 2023, even at the end of season. So hopefully we don't see that bar climb too much further. But if you want to get a full breakdown of how this year compares to previous years, take a look at our weather app later this evening. Meteorologist Bailey Braun will have a full breakdown on how the climate this year compares to previous years as well. We are getting a little bit of rain pushing here through the interior, still some lightning. So that does mean the potential for more fire starts. But out west, we have a more significant storm pushing in. In fact, heavy rain moving into the western side of the state, even a high surf advisory in effect. Not something we see very often this time of year. Already more than 1/10 of an inch of rain in Nome. I do expect you to get more than an inch in the next 24 hours. Seeing about 1/4 of an inch of rain there in Galena today. And even though we've seen some spotty showers in and around Anchorage and the interior, you can see it's not making much into those rain buckets. So still showing 0 for the official rainfall total, both Anchorage and in Fairbanks. But we have this next storm coming in. You want to be prepared for the wind and the rain over the next 24 hours for the western side of the state. Some of that moisture will filter further inland. Low 70s in Fairbanks, 60 in Palmer, 60 in Anchorage, so a little bit cooler. The one spot that's not experiencing any drop in temperatures or rain is southeast, finally getting a little bump to your temperatures. 70s in Juneau today, mostly sunny all the way into Ketchikan. Overnight tonight, we've got those spotty showers pushing through Anchorage. Be prepared for scattered showers across all of South Central. Tonight into tomorrow morning, temperatures start out in the low 50s. We'll climb back into the 60s in the afternoon. Sunny, dry through the second half of the day. And as we look ahead for Fairbanks, you'll see a little bit of light rain holding on tomorrow, just mid-60s. So again, all of that is helping these firefighters, but still seeing the sunshine in Juneau and just some morning showers in Bethel. And I'll have a look at the full rest of the week here in a few minutes.
All right, Melissa, thank you very much. The Federal Bureau of Investigation is still seeking information following what it says was an Anchorage bank robbery late last week. The FBI says that last Friday, a little after 1:30 in the afternoon, the Wells Fargo Bank inside Fifth Avenue Mall was robbed. A little before that, this person here was seen sitting in a massage chair outside of the bank. The suspect then walked into the bank, approached an employee, and presented a note demanding money. That note, the FBI says, indicated the suspect was in possession of a firearm. The suspect then ran off. Now, witnesses described the suspect as a man, possibly in his 40s or 50s, said to be approximately 5'5". The FBI says the investigation is active and ongoing, and the agency is asking that anyone with any information related to the case please submit your tips online at tips.fbi.gov, or you can call directly by dialing 1-800-CALL FBI, and tips can be anonymous. Also on Friday, but around 4:30 in the afternoon, the Anchorage Police Department says it received multiple 911 calls about a crash on the Boniface overpass in Anchorage, with more calls coming in reporting gunfire in the area. APD says its initial investigation found that two vehicles had exchanged gunfire at a different location, with one of those vehicles allegedly running a red light and causing the crash that you're seeing here. Now, this is video from the scene on Friday. Anyone with any information is encouraged to contact APD at 907-786-8900, or you can also call 311. And in case you missed it, our months-long investigation into the convicted killer found guilty in 2024 of murdering Kathleen Jo Hendry and Veronica Abouchuk aired this past weekend. Kathleen, Jo, and Veronica were Alaska Native women, and to this day, missing and murdered Indigenous peoples advocates continue to search for answers and possibly confirmation of more victims as they ask whom else might Brian Smith have killed.
We want answers!
I'm almost certain there's more victims.
We want answers!
Led by Alaska's news sources, Rebecca Palsha, this investigative documentary for the first time reveals some of the new evidence discovered since Smith's sentencing last year. The special, Kathleen, Jo, and Veronica, Who Else? The Search for Brian Smith's Unwritten Victims, is available on our website and our streaming platforms. All right, do you recognize this skiff right here? The Coast Guard also looking for information after it was found on Shackmanoff Point. Very few details immediately available, but we do know this. It was a 16-foot blue aluminum skiff discovered on the east side of Shackmanoff Point. That's according to the Coast Guard. But little is known about how the skiff got there. If you have any information about this, or perhaps you recognize the skiff, you are asked to please contact the Coast Guard of Western Alaska at 907-428-4100. Valdez is the new home port for Mariner Protector class Coast Guard cutter. The U.S. Coast Guard says cutter Blacktip is now home ported in the town, having arrived there earlier this month. The Blacktip is an 87-foot Marine Protector class patrol boat. Blacktip is replacing the recently decommissioned Liberty, a 110-foot Island class cutter. According to the Coast Guard, Blacktip is equipped with advanced systems and will conduct different missions within the Arctic District. That includes, but is not limited to, maritime law enforcement and security, living marine resources, and search and rescue efforts. Blacktip was commissioned in 2000 and was previously home ported in Oxnard, California. And still ahead on Alaska's news source, the Department of Fish and Game is implementing new requirements for certain hunts for both residents and non-residents. We'll fill you in on what you need to know. And the newest edition of our Athlete of the Week is here. We're going to head to Mount Marathon for that story. All coming up. If you're planning on hunting moose or mountain goat in the near future, you're going to want to listen up. New requirements are in place as of this month, and they are not only for non-resident hunters. For those of you planning to hunt mountain goats in Alaska, you must pass the Mountain Goat Identification Quiz first. That's for both residents and non-residents. And for moose, all non-resident moose hunters, whether guided or non-guided, must complete the non-resident moose hunter orientation ahead of their hunts. But let's first talk about the mountain goat hunters. Anyone planning to hunt mountain goats in Alaska must pass a 26-question quiz prior to hunting goats in the state. You got to get 21 of the questions correct to pass. And so now, in addition to your hunting licenses, your permits, locking tags, you must also carry proof of passing the quiz while in the field hunting goats. Now, Fish and Game says, in part, particularly given the difference in identifying males and females, the quiz is meant to help people learn those differences and prevent unintended harvests of females. Again, this regulation is for everyone, and it starts in effect as of July 1st. And for non-resident moose hunters, you must complete the non-resident moose hunter orientation before your hunt. Same as the mountain goat licensure, you're going to need to carry your hunting license, permit, locking tag, and proof of successful completion of the course with you in the field. The hope is that the orientation helps hunters avoid what the state calls common mistakes made by those who may be unfamiliar with the challenges of hunting moose in Alaska and the penalties that can come with those mistakes. Fish and Game says the orientation includes education on hunt preparedness, meat care, shot placement, and more. For this course, you watch a couple of videos. You must get 15 of 16 quiz questions correct in order to pass. This is also effective as of this month. Full descriptions of the requirements, because I know that was a lot we just gave you, along with all the rules and the regulations of the State Department of Fish and Game, can be found at adfg.alaska.gov. And coming up tonight on the late edition, public testimony is being heard over the Mulchatna caribou herd predator control program put forward by the State Department of Fish and Game. And Fish and Game says the effort is meant to improve Mulchatna caribou calf survival in order to grow the herd to a level that provides for harvest. We're going to take a look at the issue at hand, the July board meeting on the policy, and what comes next. We'll see you on the Alaska's News Source late edition coming up for that story.
Thanks for listening. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcast from Alaska's News Source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's News Source app.